the News Channel 5 network. This is Real Estate Real Talk with your host, Realtor Christy Wilson. Sponsored by the Wilson Group Real Estate Services.
Good morning. Welcome to Real Estate Real Talk, Nashville's only live call-in real estate show where we invite you, the viewer, to call in to us with any questions you might have regarding real estate. Our call-in number is 737-7587. My name is Christy Wilson, and I'm your host of Real Estate Real Talk, and also the president of the Wilson Group Real Estate Services. The Wilson Group is a full-service real estate agency offering 25 full-time agents at your service. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, we're here to help you. Or if you're interested in needing property management, we also have a full-time property management division to help you with all of your investment needs. Real Estate Real Talk is also sponsored by Farmington Financial Group. So if you have refinancing needs, want to buy a home, call Billy Hamburg at Farmington Financial Group. And Billy's phone number is 690-5100. Well, as we've talked about all year, the market is hot, hot, hot. And with a hot, hot, hot market comes a lot of opportunities and also a lot of challenges. So with me today are actually two crowd favorites of Real Estate Real Talk, and I'm so pleased to have returning guest Price Lechleiter, who is the president of the Greater Nashville Association of Realtors, and Don Klein, the CEO of the Greater Nashville Association of Realtors.
Thanks, glad to be here.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We have so much to talk about today, but before we get started, because I just love for our guests to know just a little bit about, I like our viewers to know just a little bit about our guests. Even though I feel like they know y'all, I still want you to give a little blurb about who you are and what you do. Go ahead, Price.
Well, I'm a native Nashvilleian, 21 years as a real estate agent in Nashville. I used to be in the family business, which was Checker Cab Company here in Nashville. I'm a product of public school here in Nashville and managing broker for Frederick & Clark Realty. And the only reason I'm on this show today is because I'm the outgoing president of the Greater Nashville Association of Realtors this year.
That's not the only reason, Price.
Okay. That's part of the reason.
It's your charm and good looks. Come on.
Well,
you're classing up the joint.
All right. Not on TV, please.
Okay. Don.
Well, thanks. I'm a long-time Nashvilleian at this point. Moved here in 1980. Actually grew up in Michigan, went to school in Arkansas and Oklahoma, and lived a few other places before coming here. But I've had a lot of fun learning Nashville, living here. It's such a great place. So much going on here. In over 33 years, I've had the opportunity to do a lot of work in advertising and public relations and music business related things, as well as my time at GNAR. I started there in 1997, just about this time of year, and have had the opportunity to work with people who have been presidents like you and Price and others to see a lot of things happen and see the organization grow and have some significant impact. Another just kind of a little bit of fun fact that is true of me. Here we are at Channel 5 in a studio that right across the hall in another studio back in the early 70s I was part of doing some recording over there with Roy Clark and his organization, and that's where Hee Haw used to be produced, and yes, I was on Hee Haw as a trumpet player in a band, so that was fun.
I love it, and I've seen pictures of Don as a trumpet player in Hee Haw.
Yeah, hair was a little longer.
It's funny to think of you with long hair, and every now and then Don will do this and his bangs come down and he looks like a little boy. I'm like, you do that more often.
When I first saw that picture, I couldn't pick him out. He had to show me which one he was.
Oh, well.
I still look at pictures of myself and have to get some help picking him out.
But isn't that funny? I mean, and that's really going to be a good segue into our show about how many people come to Nashville to be part of the music industry.
Right.
And then clearly it's it's such a difficult industry to get into, and then they go and do such great things in other areas of Nashville and just keep Nashville strong and vibrant. And that's one of my favorite parts
that entrepreneur spirit that comes, the music business, of course, is built on that, and now Nashville has just spread that entrepreneurial spirit to healthcare and a lot of other things. And Michael Burcham and the Entrepreneur Center have just done a fantastic job really putting some wind in those sails.
That's right. And I wanted to give a shout out, talking about the Entrepreneur Center. Sherry Stewart Deutschman, who is one of our members and outgoing board member, Mark Deutschman's wife, she was just honored into the Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame here in Nashville, and she's an amazing woman. She's a good friend of mine. So Sherry, I know you're
no
working
doubt.
and not watching, but congratulations. That's such an honor, and I'm just so proud of you. So good job. And
Awesome.
yeah, and that is something really unique that Nashville does have, is that Entrepreneurial Center, and just continuing to foster the growth of this city.
It brings a lot of energy and a lot of money to help get some of those businesses really started. It's an awesome thing.
It really is. Well, before we get into the meat of the matter, I'm going to, and Price, I might let you do this if you want to. I always like to give the home sale numbers. It's always me giving the home sale numbers each month. And last week, the GNAR posted the home sale numbers for November. So if you've got them in your head, you can give them. Otherwise, I've got them in my head. And
I have several numbers in my head.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But we were up 4% November of this year over November last year. And also, if I miss a number, I've got my numbers guru right here next to me.
If I've ever felt secure in a setting, it's right now. So, there will be there will be no missteps.
Well, and also I think what I really like is those year-to-date numbers, and if you look at January through November of this year, we're about 19% up over last year, January to November. So good signs. We didn't have a double-digit increase in this November, but it's more a sustainable number now. We've had almost 30 months of double-digit increases, and that just realistically, that just can't go on.
As we well know, because we thought it could at one time, and you cannot sustain.
Exactly. But the key is we're still up, and pendings were at what, about 3,000? 2,000. Pendings were at 2,000. See, I'm optimistic though. I'm looking for spring. Another 1,000.
There you go. That's right.
We're up 2,000, which those pendings are lifetime, as you know, and so I think those are great numbers.
And to that point too, so many people or so many agents don't put their properties into the pending status in our MLS system just yet, because they want to make sure they get through the inspection process, they get through the appraisal process. So a lot of times those pendings flip into pending right before closing. So even though today it's showing 2,000 pendings, hopefully most of those would be closing in December. There's probably even more than that.
Yeah, there may be another several hundred sitting there with a contingency of financing or inspection that are just ready to roll to pending.
I like what Price said about it's good to compare November of this year with November of last year, those kind of things. Something else that I find interesting is to look at year-over-year trends for the whole year. In 2006 in Greater Nashville, there were 40,000 closings. That's the high water mark. In 2007, that went down to about 34,000. The next year it went down to about 26,000. The next 3 years it was at 20,000, barely. So the market cut in half. And last year we were up at 26,000. This year we'll be in the range of 30,000. So you can see the reality of how high it was, and now we've really made some significant steps to see the market come back. We're at 3/4 of what we were in 2006.
And the inventory still is remaining low, which poses a challenge to our buyers right now, and poses a challenge to sellers too. I think part of that inventory is a catch-22. I have so many folks who would like to sell their home, but they haven't found something that they want to buy because that's not there. So there's a lot of pent-up inventory there that just needs to be released. Hopefully we'll see a little bit of that in 2014.
I find it interesting, the realtors are telling people that, yes, there is need for inventory, but if your house isn't prepared for the market and isn't priced correctly, it's no different than it was 3 or 4 years ago. It's going to sit there.
You're exactly right. And guys, we're going to go to a short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation on Real Estate Real Talk. So y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.